Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of New York Got Game. Your boy Dexter Henry is here, joined by my guy Bryan Fonseca.
Sir.
All-Star break is pretty much over. I would get into what you guys think about the All-Star break, but I don't care about the All-Star game as much as some other people do, but it was more interesting this year is what I'll say. But we're going to get back to actual NBA basketball that is competitive, not exhibition games that people have to talk about all the time. We're going to get back to that. And the Knicks, right out of the break, have a big game.
Love it.
And I like it. They got two big games actually right out the break, but I love it. Big game at home. First time at home this season. They will play the Detroit Pistons. We know how the first two times went, and they were not good. Got blown out, beat downs in both of them. Now, how much you can take from those games, particularly the second one, I'm not sure. But here's what we're going to do today. This is what we're going to tell you. I know everybody's been wondering it. We're going to look at why have the Knicks struggled against the Detroit Pistons this season. Why have they done? So this is going to be a film breakdown where we look at exactly what the struggles are with the Knicks this season against the Pistons. And look, like we said, it hasn't looked good in either game. In fact, in the last game, it didn't look good for Jalen Brunson. And that's actually where we're going to start today. Because Bryan talked about this when we were doing the watch party, and we will have another watch party with a special guest for the Pistons game on Thursday. So tap in with us on that. And it's going to be a fun one.
Yes.
All I'm going to say is the ops are going to be in the building. That's what I will say on that. It's going to be interesting. However, Jalen Brunson did not have a good game the last time against the Pistons. 4 of 20 shooting. One of the things you mentioned, B, was the Pistons, they can and they will throw a lot of length at Jalen Brunson. And that frustrated him. Now, we've seen this movie before. We've seen teams try to throw length at Jalen Brunson, and Jalen Brunson is usually pretty good at figuring it out. What I will say, though, is for Pistons defense, that is second in the NBA in terms of defensive rating, they have a lot of length and a lot of different body types with the length they can throw at you, right? So it's not just they got a lot of guys with crazy wingspan.
Absolutely.
They also have mass and physicality they can kind of throw at you. Do you, before we get into this and show people the film, do you see this as a major problem that concerns you, or do you believe that is something Jalen Brunson can absolutely figure out?
You want him to be able to figure it out by not taking 30 shots every game. That's kind of the thing, or 25 even. You have a lot of size. You have a lot of length. You mentioned different body types. It's also just the switchability, like how many people are competent and better than competent, but really good defenders on this Pistons team. And that's why we have to be careful about calling them fraudulent ahead of time, because I tend to think that the fraudulent teams who are great in the regular season are more so the offensive teams. And the Pistons are not.
I agree.
Pistons are not a team that's blowing everybody out of the water. As a matter of fact, the offensive ceiling is where I would have some questions about, hey, do they have enough offense to sort of get by like the Knicks in a series, the Celtics in a series? And even Cleveland, if Cleveland's actually going to be better with James Harden now. In the regular season, I think that's true, but in the playoffs, we'll see. You have a lot of like Isaiah Stewart you could throw on Jalen Brunson for a stretch. You know what I mean? He's not going to guard him the entire game, but if he gets him on a switch, and he will, like that's not one of the bigs you want, in that sort of space. You'd rather somebody like a Nikola Vucevic, who just got recently traded to the Celtics, be guarding Jalen Brunson as opposed to Isaiah Stewart. You also have obviously Asar Thompson, who we're going to talk about kind of extensively in this video from a defensive standpoint. Ron Holland as well. Karis LeVert even at times, because they'll go offense-defense and they'll use Karis LeVert as opposed to maybe Duncan Robinson for defense down the stretch. Like they just have so many different guys, and there's even others that I'm not naming. And by the way, Cade Cunningham is a solid defensive guard. Like a lot of people probably think, and I've made this point already before on New York Got Game, but people tend to not give him his respect defensively. I don't know if they think that he's one of these heliocentric offensive players who puts up big numbers and is not a plus defender, but he is a plus defender. He's a good, solid defender, and he can hold his ground against Jalen Brunson. So having to make Jalen Brunson work and take a lot of tough shots is what they're going to try to do, and we've seen this with Brunson year in and year out in the playoffs, even going back to like the Heat series a few years ago, where you would see Jimmy Butler, where you would see obviously Bam Adebayo and some of the other guys that they have there. Detroit can do a lot of that, and that's where they're going to try to hurt the Knicks offensively, is making Jalen Brunson work very hard.
Yeah, you're going to see that, and we've seen it already through 2 games. We have absolutely seen that. And so we're going to look at 4 things in terms of why the Knicks have struggled against the Pistons this season. As we said, the first one is going to be how the Pistons guard Jalen Brunson. And we just talked about them doing with length. So let's look at the film when it comes to looking at this. And when you look at the film and you look at this with Jalen Brunson, this is a team that they're going to throw length at him a couple of times. They're going to use Asur Thompson. They're going to use different guys. So let's bring up the plays. I want to show everybody the first thing that we could look at with him here. And the first play that we have here, this is from the Peacock game. So this is the first time the 2 teams met this season. We saw them play in January 5th, I believe it was. And we're going to take a look at what happens here. So let's let this action play. You see Jalen Brunson with the ball here at the top right by the half-court mark. So we're going to just let it play here with Jalen Brunson bringing the ball into this action. Now you see the length there, Beef Stew showing Asur Thompson is on him, right? And
that's Ron Holland.
Ron Holland, excuse me. Ron Holland's there. And Ron Holland does a fantastic job there of hands up, right? Didn't keep his hands to the side. Jalen Brunson had nowhere to go. And the shot he takes, look, Jalen Brunson's got to fade away on this one. And Ron Holland, look at it. Look, Ron Holland gets his hands there. His hands are up to show, right? And Ron Holland's able to get his hands down there very quickly so he doesn't foul. Look, shows.
Look at that. He's there before the shot is going up.
Before it's going up, right? So that block,
he knows it's going up.
Which is great because that blocks the shooter's vision. Jalen Brunson has to fade away on that one off of 1 foot. Now, I know somebody's going to say, hey, Dex, we've seen Jalen Brunson make that shot a million times before. Sure, we have. But the more and more you have to see it against length is the harder that it becomes. And this is in the first quarter. This is 9 minutes about into this game. And you're seeing this, and that is a tough shot for Jalen Brunson. Now, Jalen Brunson played better in this game than he did in the February game. But immediately, look at the length you're seeing because Ron Holland's there. Isaiah Stewart shows, right? So you got to wonder. And Isaiah Stewart, length and also got some size.
Yes.
That you have to deal with. So that's even a problem for Jalen Brunson to try to get past.
By the way, more quickness than you think also.
Yeah.
Like Isaiah Stewart, he doesn't play huge minutes every game, but he is an all-defense caliber type of dude.
Oh, yeah.
We only have 2 all-defensive teams, so he probably won't make it. But I think the Pistons should get somebody, and he's going to be one of the leading candidates for that.
Yeah, he should be. And he does a great job here of what you would want. Also, when you think about this, when you are forcing offenses, you want him to go towards the baseline and use that as an extra man. So Stewart does his job. Then he's able to come back right into away from the action.
Yep,
he's tagging
Mitchell Robinson cutting.
Yep. And so
and now
he does that.
I think that's Javonte Green who's rotating over to the shooter, which is Kevin McCullough. And now this is the thing. Like, you can switch and throw, like we just talked about it, throw all these different guys on to Jalen Brunson. But then also, so I think if you're watching this and you're like, okay, they're going to need to get other guys involved. So Jalen Brunson has to pass here. Well, Cade Cunningham is over here on Jordan Clarkson. You see Jaden Ivey no longer with the team on Deuce McBride. And by the way, in this game, like, there were some injury stuff. Deuce McBride, this was his first game
back from injury.
Josh Hart did not play. Landry Shamet did not play. But for the Pistons, no Jalen Duren, who the Knicks have not seen yet this season.
And will not see this season.
Yeah, unless they play each other in the playoffs.
Right.
No Tobias Harris and no Karis LeVert. So fairly significant injuries on the Pistons side. Also, Josh Hart being out and Landry Shamet is pretty big for the Knicks. So you had injuries on both sides. And then look at this. I mean, the physicality there, beating him to the spot. And the thing is, like, you made a good point, Dex, where I think if you're a Knicks fan watching this, you're like, oh, Jalen Brunson just missed a shot. Like, he can make this shot. But if you're Detroit, if you're forcing this every single time,
that's what you want.
That's what you want, because also, like, nobody else is getting open. Nobody else is getting involved. Nobody else is really cutting. They're just kind of staring and ball watching here. And this is not even a late in the shot clock shot. You're looking down here. There's 11 seconds left.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a win for Detroit, right? This is an absolute win for him. It's a tough shot. Can Brunson hit that? Sure. Now, I'm going to go here, and this is what we're going to look at in these next couple of clips just to keep this thing moving. This you're going to see. This is the I would say for Detroit, the Asur Thompson special here. They are going to do a lot of Asur Thompson. Now, look, man, Asur Thompson is absolutely motivated. We all know how he got crossed and cooked at the end of Game 6, and then Jade. So he's going to try to bring a little extra something, and he's been really good defensively.
Great this year.
In these great.
Speaking of all defense, he's another one that will be in those conversations.
He's one of the best on-ball defenders in basketball, period.
He's as good as his brother, honestly, defensively. Defensively.
And he's not as good as his brother offensively, but he is motivated.
Well, his brother's got some things to work out offensively as well.
I agree. And I really like his brother, but it was motivated here. And you know that. And listen, the young man here is going to be motivated. So I want you to watch with these next 2 plays how Ausar Thompson makes life very difficult for Jalen Brunson and is able to get physical. And I wonder, when I use the word physical, I want to say Jalen Brunson's the kind of player that can get physical too for his size.
Yeah.
He will take and absorb contact and finish through it. We
Absolutely.
have seen this. So Jalen Brunson can welcome the physicality. Not worried about that with him. It's the quality of shots he's getting against length and physicality that I worry about. And I think Ausar Thompson, you'll see here how he made life difficult for the Knicks star. So let's let this one rock.
And I just want to add, it's also taxing if you have to work that hard as a smaller guard against all the length and things like that.
Taxing is the perfect word, Bryan.
Yeah, you don't want him to potentially get injured or just get worn down by the time the fourth quarter comes around, which Detroit's going to try to do. And frankly, anybody is going to try to do. Boston will try to do something similar, especially after last season. By the way, Game 2, no Jalen Duren for the Pistons. Again, as we mentioned, the Knicks had no Cat, no OG, no Deuce, no Jose Alvarado, because Jose Alvarado had just been traded for. So the Knicks were more shorthanded in this game, but again, we talked about they should have put up a better effort, and part of this was also Detroit just played really, really well, to your point. So let's let this run. Ausar Thompson, I mean, just I know people are going to want the foul there, but I'm going to tell you why that wasn't called briefly. First of all, beats him to the spot. He's there. He's
right there. It's a great shutoff, and he's in there. Now, you can say he's reaching across the other arm, and that's a foul, but he does get some of the ball there, and Jalen Brunson, he gets a lot of ball there. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a pretty decent strip. Jalen Brunson goes up. Now, Jalen Brunson on the shot through, you could say there's contact there, but the ball's already dislodged, and he doesn't have control of it, and I think that's the reason he mostly doesn't get the call here, Bryan.
And in the playoffs, I mean, look, if you're a New York sports fan, if you're a Knicks fan, if you're an NBA fan in general, if you're a Pistons fan, like, we ain't trying to see this called in the playoffs. We're trying to see physical basketball. Let's be real. Come on.
You want the physical basketball, and people like it. You just hope that it gets called both ways.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to call this on one end, but I don't think this is not something where I'm like, oh, he definitely got fouled, whatever. Like, come on.
The reason we chose this play, I want to be very clear, because it also shows the tone of how Detroit wants to play with Jalen Brunson, the physicality. And again, this is also, you're going to have to adjust to that. You know, when you try, this is a move Jalen Brunson will try to get to. He will try to get to that spot just inside the elbow of the free throw line.
Pull up.
And he'll try to pull up. So he's now going to be either thinking about expecting that physicality of a player like Ausar Thompson trying to get the strip. How does he do that? Is it an extra dribble? Is it a fake back to maybe try to make Ausar Thompson a commit to get a reach-in foul? These are the games within the game that you're going to see going forward. But Jalen Brunson on there, he was acting for the call. You can see Josh Hands with his hands up there too. He's like, yo, where's the call, man? But that's the kind of physicality. Every
player does that now.
This is a good point. Now watch this again. This is another one with Jalen Brunson. You're going to see him get the ball here.
Right here.
Jalen Brunson's right here. You're going to see him get the ball. And Ausar Thompson's going to be involved in this one too. As Ausar Thompson in this game, oh, man, he gave him hell.
He had a great, He
gave him hell. So you're going to see Jalen Brunson
here. So Jalen actually, can you beat him to the spot here, Ausar Thompson? Like,
you want to.
This is actually pretty good positioning for Jalen Brunson off the catch.
He's got the angle. And it's to his left, his strong hand, right?
Do you want him to pull up here? You have 14 seconds left.
I don't love that shot.
You're down 22.
Because look at where Ausar Thompson is. That's still even a great place for him to close out properly. Now, he can, because he's closing out from the opposite side of your shooting hand. You are thinking if he closes too hard, maybe he goes into you, maybe he fouls you. That's a possibility.
I
don't love the shot there.
Yeah, I
think the right thing to do is get. Sorry to cut you off, B. The right thing to do is to get what Mike Brown talks about. Can we get a spray? Can we get a spray? For people who haven't heard all season long, but I know you have been listening to Mike Brown. Can you get into the paint and then kick it out to a shooter?
Only thing about a spray here is
I know where you're going.
Ain't much going on here.
Spacing
is not great. Mikal Bridges and Mohamed Diawara are right here. Tobias Harris and Cade Cunningham just could kind of hang out. And Josh Hart is over here with Duncan Robinson.
What you're hoping for is that one of the Cunningham or Harris commits and gives you a pass there. That's what you're hoping for there.
So let's see if they do. There's a drive. Still got a decent angle here. I'm actually fine with Jalen taking this drive if I'm Mike Brown. It's like, okay, see if you can make something happen. Can you draw some contact? Can you get a bump? Can you get to the free throw line? Could you get a good shot off? Can you beat him all the way to the basket? Right? Great use of just the body here from Ausar Thompson, not being overly committing with the hands,
not
so
reaching,
to speak.
Not reaching at all.
He gets bumped there, and then back to the help, back to the physicality and switchability.
There you go.
It's like Mitchell Robinson's here. Isaiah Stewart's like, okay, the lob isn't coming, so I can just leave and I can help. And here we go. There's the block or contest. Can
I just say, as you run that back, I think you also have to credit Cade Cunningham and Tobias Harris for not over-helping
Great point.
And staying with their man. And Isaiah Stewart saying like, hey, well, if you do lob it here, right here, if you lob it, you beat me, and there's nothing I could do.
Right.
But if you shoot it, which Jalen Brunson did, I'm going to make this a tough shot because you have length to your right and length right in front of your face to your left, and you're going up with your left hand. This is going to be tough. You have two guys with length on you inside. So you see how Beef Stew is able to be a helper. Even if Brunson was able to lob it right here, that's a very difficult pass.
It's
with a strong hand.
Because look at where Mitchell Robinson, he's behind the backboard practically. Right. Like it's
you got to get that over the rim almost.
Yeah, Cade, by the way, you see here, he's just like, I'm just gonna be long here. Like I'm just gonna extend.
It's the right
use
play.
my wingspan. Yeah,
it's trusting your defense. Who was supposed to help?
And he's not fouling.
Yeah,
he's not fouling either. By the way. So Duncan Robinson's here. He's like, oh, I know Josh Hart's not getting this pass.
Right.
It's a difficult pass to make because, again, Ausar Thompson's right here. This is probably going to be cookies. And now Duncan Robinson is like, okay, in the event that Mitchell Robinson, like he's frantically like, okay, we cannot let Mitchell Robinson get this rebound. And you have multiple Knicks. Like Mikal Bridges is basically out of the play at this point, and Muhammad Diawara is in the corner. And now you get the stop and you get the rebound from there.
Yeah, so another good example of how length, not just from Ausar Thompson, but also the help defense from Isaiah Stewart helped there. Now let's look at this other play. This going back to the first meeting between the two teams. Who's on him?
Isaiah Stewart.
Your boy Beef Stew.
Yep.
Is on him, right? And you see, look how good he's moving his feet. Now he gets crossed over here, there. Jalen Brunson creates the space, right? This is a shot we see JB hit. You've seen the captain hit this one. It's actually a good offensive move. He's able to create the space. He got Isaiah Stewart leaning a little bit, but that little bit of length and the effort on the closeout by Isaiah Stewart is what you're going to see happen here. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler alert here. This possession ends in a Knicks bucket. However, that's not the point. The point is this is not an easy shot. All shots are not going to be easy. In the playoffs, you need your stars to make some difficult shots.
Correct.
You need them to make some tough shots. They're going to see different coverages, but this is the confidence. This is the reason we're showing this. The confidence that Detroit has in using one of their bigs to put on Jalen Brunson in space. Now, here's the thing. If you're Coach Brown and you got beef stew on Jalen Brunson, you got to cook the beef stew, okay? You want him to cook the beef stew.
Easier said than done.
It is easier said than done, but look, 7 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times you like the matchup because you're like, I think Jalen Brunson can create the space.
8 seconds left on the shot clock.
I
actually, and you know what's the thing too? Yeah. I think like, why can't Mikal Bridges take Duncan Robinson off the dribble here instead? Mikal Bridges is in the corner. Has Duncan Robinson's
Bryan Fonseca. Are you asking the question that everybody's been asking since the beginning of time with his tenure? Why can't that happen?
Like,
we've been waiting to see that happen. You're talking about why can't he punish a player that you think he should cook? You're not wrong.
Like,
so you're saying that you think he should give the ball up in that spot to Mikal Bridges and Mikal Bridges should go and cook. I don't disagree with you.
Duncan Robinson is not as bad of a defender as he's profiled to be. He's made a lot of silly mistakes in Miami in terms of fouling, but like he can move his feet, and on a team with good defenders, like,
but
he
you
can
like
be competent.
that? You saying there should be an advantage here?
But for Mikal Bridges, yes. Like I think Mikal Bridges against Duncan Robinson is more of an advantage than Jalen Brunson against Isaiah Stewart.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
But I agree with your point.
What I'm saying
body
is,
of work.
What have you seen to make you believe that would happen? And I think that's.
I think Mikal.
I think it's a fair question. I'm not saying Mikal shouldn't do it. I'm just saying, what have you seen to make you believe?
So let's see
that would happen. But we're gonna go. We're gonna go back to that.
Let's go back to the play. Whew. So here we have. By the way, this is a shot clock. This is a shot clock thing. There's 7 seconds left. 8 before he's even making the initial move. So that's another reason for, hey, can Mikal go baseline here? Can you? But Jalen Brunson's like, all right, I trust myself here. The crossover, as you mentioned, honestly, like, good move. We have 5 seconds left on the shot clock at this point. Here's a step back. You have space. This is closing out without fouling, but he has enough space here to make the shot.
And has to fade back just a little bit. Not a lot. Not a lot. He goes pretty much straight up, but just a tad bit because of the length of Isaiah Stewart. And then you'll see what happens.
Cat should have given him more space here. That's a small detail, but still, good look. And it just, like, when you have Mitchell Robinson, you can, like, this is why he's there, to bail you out of things.
Yeah. But
and
look,
he has a good, again, no Jalen Duren. Paul Reed is in the game with Isaiah Stewart, but with Isaiah Stewart on the switch, that takes away some size from the glass, so Mitchell Robinson has to have the awareness to take advantage of that. And he does here. As high as Asar Thompson could jump, and as physical as Cade Cunningham could also be on both ends of the floor, like, this is just a great putback. But still, making Jalen Brunson work, like, that's something you like if you're the Pistons, that the Knicks have to try to navigate through if they play each other in the conference finals or even before that.
Yeah, but again, to me, those are – listen, you don't want Mitchell Robinson hurting you also if you're the Pistons, but these are huge wins to me for the Pistons if you have Jalen Brunson taking tough shots. Now, the last play that we have, this is at the end of the second quarter, as you can see, in the second match between the two teams. This is when it was starting to get bad, Knicks fans. So sorry for the PTSD. But Jalen Brunson.
But this is what you need to know going into not just this game, but, again, this is a potential conference finals matchup. Both of these teams are good enough to get to the conference finals. We know this.
What you're going to know here is 4.5 seconds left. The Pistons.
Down 21, by the way.
Are up 21. They are well aware of who the Knicks are trying to get the ball to here. Yeah. This to me, and what you'll see here is as much about great defensive awareness for a team that is ranked second in the league in defense. This is awareness, right? Now, maybe you want to say give it up here, but we'll see what happens. Let this play.
Here's Asar, here's Ron Holland, here's Jalen Brunson, and here's Mitchell Robinson, who you want to set a screen here.
You do. He doesn't.
Jalen gets the ball. We have 2 seconds. I mean, there's a behind the back. Now Paul Reed is on him. Like, you saw how many defenders on this one sequence. It's the end of the game, end of the half, excuse me. But I mean, this is as well as you can defend.
Except there was a pass to be made. Now I don't know how good of a shot they would have been, but once you get boom right here, who's wide open?
Mikal Bridges.
There you go, Mikal Bridges.
Because you're not giving Mitchell Robinson. I mean, if you want,
some of y'all want to see that
because it's the end of the quarter. But yeah, you're not giving this to Mitchell Robinson. He's cutting. Mitchell Robinson's doing what he's supposed to do. He's filling the gaps. Mikal's here and he's in position. Like, to his credit,
wide open.
To his credit, he is right here. 1 second left. That's enough time. Jalen doesn't even have his head
right
up
here. 1.3. He can get it to him and he can get a shot off.
Yeah.
So Jalen Brunson. Here, I think this is a bit of him forcing the action against the length that he'd be seeing. You also wonder how much it was in his head that he'd been frustrated by the length throughout at this point in the game where he was having an off night. And, yeah, when you have to worry about Asar Thompson, you run right into Paul Reed, and he says, get that out of here, that was a very fitting end to what was a terrible offensive first half for the Knicks in that game against the Pistons. So, a really good job there by the Pistons. They're able to shut down Jalen Brunson. And it just shows you with the length what can happen when you see that time and time again. Like, it's going to make you adjust to it. Now, the last play that we have in terms of the length that I'm going to have you look at, we'll bring it up again. This is going to be one where you're going to see Jalen Brunson get a bucket. But, man, did he work for this bucket.
Here we go.
He worked for this bucket.
We have other stuff we're going to get to as well.
So this was right before. This was at the end of the second quarter. This is one of the 4 buckets he hit.
But this is something that's going to be targeted. So we'll start a slow motion here. Landry Shamet sets the screen. Asar Thompson is still here.
Right on his hip.
Right with him the entire time.
Doesn't reach. That is fantastic. See how he doesn't reach?
That's ridiculous.
It's fantastic defense to move your feet like that. It is great defensive footwork against a player who has great offensive footwork. This is fantastic. For people watching, just look at the body control by Asar Thompson and how his hand, he's never reaching. Look, not reaching. Not at all. I'm right with you.
That's
into
ridiculous.
It. And then he contests the shot, and look how tough that shot is.
That's hard. He just turned 23 also. Like, to have those instincts to, all right, I'm just not going to be handsy. And, like, last year, he had a couple of silly fouls in that playoff series, which he's trying to avoid now. But this is a great shot. But, man, to your point, with 7 seconds left, I mean,
you tip your hat. That's what you say.
Yeah. Like, Josh Hart's here, but this is an easy closeout for Tobias Harris. Landry Shamet doesn't have a look here. Mitchell Robinson, I mean, he's trying to be a lob threat here. Mikal Bridges is just chilling with Dennis Jenkins on the corner.
And see, here's the thing. We've seen Brunson make this move off of this and hit these kind of shots. It's just different when you have physicality and length coming at you in waves, time and time again.
Every play.
Again, this is why I would say to Knicks fans, for this first part that we talked about with how the Pistons defend Jalen Brunson, sometimes you don't have to trip over all of it, because what you want to see is what are the adjustments. And we'll see some of that on Thursday night, and we'll probably see some of that again if these two teams meet in the playoffs. What are then the adjustments that are going to come for Jalen Brunson and also the Pistons? They're going to expect adjustments from Jalen Brunson too. So when I look at this, Brian, what do I think Jalen Brunson could do? Some of it is, trust the teammates a little bit more in open situations like Mikal Bridges, but we got to see that happen too. Because if I'm saying it, you don't think he's thinking it?
I think guys got to get open too. Like part of the issue here is like who's cutting, like who's moving without the ball.
You're not seeing a lot of standing and watching.
Yeah, who's trying to be a target? Now, look, it's a two-pronged thing, because I do think Jalen Brunson, especially against the Pistons, like you need to make a more concerted effort to play make for others, but at the same time, guys have to be able to be play-make for, like moving without the ball and trying to get open. And, maybe the team needs to draw more sets that have more off-ball screening action so that you can create that movement, that motion against the Pistons. The Pistons are still going to defend well, but you have to, not make it easy for them, because if you're just standing around, that just plays right into their hands in terms of the physicality, and you're not providing those opportunities and those windows for maybe a miscommunication, a broken play where you get a backdoor layup or just a wide open three-point shot. Like, you're not creating enough of those opportunities, regardless of what personnel is actually on the floor. Like, I don't care who's out. Like, you have to be able to generate just good offensive looks regardless. Because if you're the deepest team and everyone's saying, like, oh, this is the deepest team in the Eastern Conference, you and I are on record saying, hey, this is a team that should win the Eastern Conference. But I think you're like, I think the Knicks are going to win the East. And I'm like, I think the Knicks are going to win the East. It's a little bit more like I need to see it consistently. And if they're not moving without the ball, how are you going to generate consistently great offense with all the offensive talent you have?
And I think that's got to be the adjustment. That's the biggest thing I think you have to see against the Pistons. When you know they're going to guard Jalen Brunson like this, they're daring you to be more dynamic with your offense in terms of moving out the ball. So now you have to go make that adjustment. So if guys move, we've seen Jalen Brunson find them. We saw that just now against Philly in the last game before the break, where the Knicks were cutting. Now, some of that was also a lot of aggressive trapping by Nick Nurse, but the Knicks made the right read. So, again, it's the same thing I'm talking about. What do I always say? Players got to have agency.
Agency, yep.
So now you see this. Trust me, if we're doing this film study, Mike Brown and company, they're doing the same thing.
They've probably done it.
They've been looking at this. They're looking at what happened in the last game. They're talking about how do we adjust to this. And I think the biggest adjustment is going to be guys moving with it. Now, speaking of moving, we're going to move along to the next thing that we're going to talk about.
Jalen Brunson, if you can't see him, we're covering him, but he's about to take this shot.
Jalen Brunson's taking a shot here in the corner. Now you're able to see it. And the next thing we're going to talk about that the Knicks absolutely have stunk at against the Pistons this season in 2 games. Transition defense, people. Man. Now, we know a lot of long threes. You sometimes get a lot of long rebounds. It's very great opportunities for teams to leak out. But for those who've played hoops and know, what's the number one thing when someone gets the ball and is looking to go out? What does your coach say to you? Stop ball.
Yep.
You're going to see a couple of plays where that did not happen. There are a lot of culprits on this. They got to stop the ball. Watch this play unfold. Jalen Brunson misses one of his 16 shots that he missed on the night here in this game, and this did not go well. So, Brian, let this play here as Brunson is going to miss the shot.
First of all, look at the bodies in the paint. Like,
Bridges is under the basket.
Yeah, Bridges is under the basket. He's getting in position. Duncan Robinson's crashing. Landry Shamet's over here because somebody has to be back because he knows what's coming. There's a tip. There's Duncan Robinson. There's the recognition.
That should never happen.
I mean,
that should never happen. That pass should never, ever happen at all whatsoever. Right? When you're looking at that, and listen, you're going to see. Now, look, Brunson gets beat right there.
I swear we're not picking on Mikal Bridges.
Brunson gets beat, but Bridges has to look at that and understand and pick up his man.
He's jogging.
There, Bridges is jogging, right?
He's jogging. Look. Here, he's not even looking at Asar Thompson.
Nope.
And Brunson notices this and tries to sprint to catch up to him, but Asar Thompson's just too fast.
There you go. He gone.
Not even running full speed. So where's Mikal here? Mikal, we're back up here. He's seeing the ball.
Not seeing his man.
But he's not seeing the man. That's the other thing that the coaches will tell you at any level. See ball,
see
and
man.
then the other part of that is see the man.
Not seeing his man. And I mean, this is also, one, it's a dangerous pass, but it's a pass that should never be made. Right, streaking perfectly into the middle of the floor. It's a good pass. It's not a pass you want, but against what the defense was giving you in transition, you got to make it. It was the right play. Duncan Robinson made the right play for Detroit.
If you have the right teammate, you can throw this pass. If you have Asar Thompson, you can throw this pass. Duncan Robinson, decent playmaker actually for his position. Don't look at the assist numbers. Just like watch basketball. Good pass here, and Mikal just gets sort of burned here. Landry Shamet is over here, burned completely. Yes, this is. I don't know, Randy Moss versus Quentin Jammer or something. I could have thought of a more less dated reference. And then Landry Shamet here on Tobias Harris. I mean, look, he has to account for the corner shooter. So pick your poison, right?
Yeah, that's on Mikal Bridges, and there was no resistance on the ball to stop the ball. So now here's another one we're going to look at here with this play, and you'll see more of the same lack of stopping the ball and miscommunication here. So that's just a turnover right here, right?
I mean, just poke this loose. Brunson was trying to create the space with the off arm here.
And Sir Thompson just reached around.
Yeah.
Knocked it away. And so here we go. Now we're off to the races. No resistance. I mean, Mikal Bridges didn't stop the ball because this is what you don't want. This was a 2-on-1 fast break for Detroit, right?
Yeah.
And Mikal Bridges didn't even force his man to give up the ball.
I mean, Javonte Green could just hit Duncan Robinson here, theoretically.
He could have.
But
that's what makes it worse. That's what makes it worse.
Right.
You want to make your man give up the ball there. That's what, and I'm telling you, any coach would be mad at this. Like, at least, because you never know what could happen. Could it be a turnover? It could be, any kind of errant pass. You get a deflection. Anything could happen when you stop ball and force an extra pass. This wasn't even forced. This is way too comfortable for Javonte Green.
I mean, Duncan Robinson's even more open here as both Mikal and Deuce.
And Javonte Green was like, nah, we're good.
We're good. I mean, he is stronger than both them dudes. But he's like, we're fine. I'm taking this one.
But there's no resistance. There's not at the point of attack. That's the thing I'm saying. Like, you didn't even force a pass. And then I guess you could say it's somewhat of a difficult shot, but not really once he got past you.
By the way, if he misses, who's right there? Asar Thompson and Cade Cunningham. Like, because Mitchell Robinson couldn't get back in time. But that Mikal, I mean, I swear we're not picking on him. But
those are two. Now, he will not be involved in this play that you'll see.
Yeah, this is not on him.
This is not on him, but we will take a look at this one. As you're going to see, all these are going to be off turnovers or missed shots. And so Josh Hart with the ball right here, about at the free throw line, top of the key. Let's let this rock. Here for Josh Hart. Tries to make a backdoor pass to Mikal.
We'll look at that in a sec.
And here comes no resistance at all. Now, you might say, Mikal tried to get back into that play, not to blame him, but Josh Hart. No, here's the problem. Nobody picks up Cunningham. Nobody picks up Cunningham here.
First of all, I don't know what this is. What's your man's name from Pitt who threw them 5 interceptions? The Peter man? Oh. Was it him? He threw all the interceptions in that.
We ain't got to do that.
Oh my God, this is just not a great look. Duncan Robinson just seemingly finding all the loose balls in these clips. Cade, I mean, he does beat Mikal Bridges here, but this is not.
To be fair, was coming out of the play.
Yeah.
But Josh Hart's got to pick him up, got to get better angle here. And step up, pick it up. That's on Josh Hart here. You have to step up.
100%. Brunson's with Asar here. And then you have guys trying to get back. And Diawara and Mitchell Robinson. Cade, he could pass this off to Asar maybe for a lob, but this is probably the better play. He gets to his strong hand here. He gets to his right hand, away from McHale, away from Josh Hart. Not the easiest look, but
he was too comfortable. Too comfortable.
Not much resistance here. That's a practice shot for him.
Yeah, best practice shot. All right, moving on to this next one here. Dennis Jenkins.
Yeah.
Right here, out hustling
Mitchell Robinson
for the ball. Now, Jordan Clarkson, stop. Jordan Clarkson here. You got to stop the ball. Now, he's got a poor angle here. He doesn't move his feet. He's not squared up with him at all whatsoever. This is just a poor angle. And from this point right here, folks, it was a wrap. This is where you should have known it was a wrap on this play. Like, any chance you thought, look at that. He's too comfortable. He got him.
He got the step.
He's way too comfortable. And look,
the physicality too.
And this is where you know it's even worse. I'm gonna say badder, which is not a word. Even worse, Jordan Clarkson's completely turned around. Now his hips have turned, completely turned around. Jalen Brunson's like, oh man, I got to get into this, and I got to see if I can try to get a steal
or charge.
But
he doesn't have time.
He's not have time to move over.
Tobias is also wide open here. Don't want to leave him open from three.
Nope. Which is why Jalen Brunson's now caught in no man's land.
McHale's here. I mean, Paul Reed, he's not Dirk Nowitzki, but
you got to respect it.
He can shoot. Shoot.
And Dennis Jenkins is like, yeah,
cool. And you know what? And I'm gonna go to my right hand,
which you're not supposed to do on that side of the basket. But nobody's there for any resistance, and that is just way too easy. And he gets the foul. This is all on Jordan Clarkson. There's no resistance here. And again, right there, when he's about 30 feet out, Jordan Clarkson's turned to the side, and then he got completely turned on his hip once he got into the paint. And that's, again, in all this stuff with transition, nobody stopped the ball. We've just watched 3 plays, and nobody has stopped the ball at all whatsoever. Let's look at another play that leads to a transition disaster. From the first game. I'm sorry. This is not for a transition disaster. That was the end of our transition disaster. So let's just move right on to the next thing
back
we're going to look
cuts,
at, which is cutting. The Pistons have killed the Knicks with cutting.
Paul Reed.
And in the first watch party we did, Bryan caught on this early in the first quarter and was on it. And
last year in the playoffs.
Oh, that's true.
It was during the playoffs. You saw Jalen Duren, top of the key. Again, we haven't seen Jalen Duren against the Knicks this season. Jalen Duren, top of the key, who was averaging more assists last year per 36 minutes. Top of the key, and then Asar Thompson cut. Ron Holland cut. Tobias Harris cut. It was mostly Asar Thompson and Ron Holland. And they even did a little bit of this with like Isaiah Stewart.
Yep.
Back cut because they're like, it's Towns. You know, it might be Bridges who doesn't want to like defend in the paint. You know, you want him on the perimeter, back cutting into these layups, and then.
But here's why
we'll try not to pick up Karl-Anthony Towns.
But here's why this works for this Detroit team. They're not a great shooting team.
Yeah.
So they have to generate their offense in easy ways, and this is how they're going to get easy buckets.
They attack the basket and get to the free throw line.
They're going to attack the basket, and they're going to see constant cutting from their wings and their bigs. And you see this right here on this play right here. And listen, it starts also with being able to get into the paint. This is their version of sprays. They're spraying. I won't call it a spray. They're looking for quick zip passes that they can hit you.
Darts around the basket.
Yeah. We'll go with that. And this is what they're going to do. And Cade Cunningham is the engine of that. So Cade Cunningham here, look at how he gets deep into the paint.
He draws 2 defenders.
Yep.
OG he has beat, and McHale comes with the help. There's Asar open. Just rolling, like easily rolling with him. So Mr. Robinson's like, well, I got to guard Isaiah Stewart. So Cat, are you going to get him? Okay. And Paul Reed's like, cool. I can cut now.
He's out of bounds.
Yeah.
And they missed that.
Yeah.
Totally missed that.
Because if you look, it doesn't appear that he has his full foot. Like, I don't know. I can't see if the back of his foot is off because you have to have one foot in order to get back into the play. So
that was a missed call. There's undoubtedly a missed call there.
Yeah, like the quality is not amazing, but it looks as if he got away with one here. Still, the principle stands, and he is way too open for this play. Not because he's out of bounds. He's barely out of bounds with 1 foot at least. And then once he gets there, I mean, it's too easy of a finish for him. For somebody who can finish. And Paul Reed, by the way, he puts up some big numbers when they're shorthanded. Like he's their third big, but he can be highly, highly productive in limited time if he needs to be. So these back cuts are a theme that we have to continue to watch. We have another one here.
Yeah, another one here, and you're gonna see. This is gonna be very interesting to see too. Because watch, you've got Isaiah Stewart at the top of the 3-point line.
Now it's him because not Jalen Duren. Because Jalen Duren's not playing.
It's not playing, right? But like, you're also gonna be worried about Cade getting the ball, and
Yep.
you're seeing that here. Landry
Shamit's on him. Don't
chasing
love
him
that.
off the screen, right? So here we go. Let's let this rock here.
Ariel Hukporti, you're in for an adventure. Okay, the not really a dribble handoff to Duncan Robinson, but same function. Wide open here, by the way, because Josh Hart has to collapse in.
Why are 3 people on Duncan Robinson? That's how you know.
Not at the 3-point line.
Not at the 3-point
line. By the way,
3 you at Duncan Robinson, 15 feet from the basket. That's like I'm telling you, this is happening in the next film session. Why is this happening? Why are you guys worried about Duncan Robinson not at the 3-point line? And you turned him into, Bryan said, the underrated playmaker. Well, look at this. Ariel Hukporti overcommits. Mohamed Diawara overcommits.
I mean, that's a pretty sick pass. That's a pretty sick pass. He does this. Like, he really does this sometimes off the dribble. You just don't want him doing it a lot. Isaiah Stewart just rolled the entire time, and you got 4 guys in the paint, but the shot's already up. The shot's already up. Nobody can help.
Yes. Because you had 3 guys on Duncan Robinson at the free throw line. It's awareness. And look,
we've talked about this all season too. It's like they overhelp, and then other guys are just like, yo, it's a 3-on-1 against me now.
Some of this I would like to keep of note. Bryan said at the top he did not like that Landry Shamet was playing on Cade. And then you have Mohamed Diawara, a rookie, and Ariel Hukporti, a second-year player, on the floor. So I'm just saying the defensive awareness not at the highest on the floor for the Knicks, but it's like you guys have to KYP. You got to know your personnel. Duncan Robinson is not the guy you want to send 3 guys at the free throw line.
You almost get away with it too because Diawara, if you just deflect this out of bounds, you're good.
But
like, you're good. You get a stop, and then you can reset. But
he had too much to recover from.
Yeah,
and he was late.
And Brunson can't. I mean,
there's nothing Brunson could have done.
All you could do is strip the ball, foul the hell out of him.
Or the best thing you'd hoped is that somehow Beef Stew kicked it out to Sword Thompson, but he knows that's not a good idea. Yeah. He knows that. We know that. He knows that.
We got a few more.
A couple more here in terms of cutting. And, man, you're going to see this. Look, we saw this in the playoffs, and they do it again here. Again, Cade Cunningham with the ball. We know how dangerous he can be.
You want OG on him. That's fine. Mitch is here. He's meeting Cade at the level. Isaiah Stewart, okay. You're kind of Mitch's responsibility. Mikal Bridges is helping. Jalen Brunson's here with Asar Thompson. And here's Javonte Green down here in the corner.
And Javonte Green's like, I know what I have to do. Yeah. Get to the basket. And that's a great pass. That's a little bit off to the right.
Well, yeah.
A little bit off.
It's a great look.
Because actually, Cunningham should have probably put it more towards the baseline.
Yeah.
It would have been easier for him to go right to the basket. But it was the right person to get it to. The Brunson's almost able to get back into that play. But he's not.
Javonte Green just beats him to the ball.
Yep.
I mean, it's asking Jalen Brunson to do a lot, too, because Mikal overplays this a little bit. But Mitchell Robinson, at this point, he was fine here, but now he's not looking at Isaiah Stewart at all.
He needed to drop back and look at where Isaiah Stewart was, and that would have made Bridges not have to overhelp, but he did.
They almost get away with it, too, because the pass is not the cleanest, but, I mean, at this point, because now look at Isaiah Stewart. He's like,
he does his job boxing out Mitchell
I didn't
Robinson.
Get the ball, cool. Here's your screen assist, or your box out assist, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. And there you go. That's an easy dunk. Easy 2 points. And this is how the Pistons have to generate their offense because, as again, we said they're not a good three-point shooting team. So they have to generate their offense in this fashion.
A lot of your best personnel on the floor, too. Like Deuce is there, Jalen Brunson's there, Mikal, OG, Mitchell Robinson. You can't blame Cat for that one.
Yeah, it's just simple overhelping. Now we got one more to look at.
This is the last one?
Last one. This is one more to look at in terms of them cutting.
Okay.
So, and then we'll go to how the Pistons are attacking Jalen Brunson. So, when we look at this one here, again, you're gonna get you keep getting guys to either overhelp on the ball, and then the Pistons are doing a great job of reading and reacting, which is what you're supposed to do. So let this one play here too. We got Dennis Jenkins on the ball here. He gets into the paint. See, the Pistons version, what do we call them? Darts, not sprays?
Yeah.
Get 2 feet into the paint and look for who's cutting, right? And this is where speed works here. Dennis Jenkins should not be able to
He
split
is
between.
fast.
He should not
Too
be able
fast
to
for
split.
Tyler Kolek.
Yeah, too fast for Kolek.
But Kolek's fine here. Kolek's fine.
Cole's fine. And listen, Dennis Jenkins, Cardinal sin. You do not want to jump in the air and pass, but he does this anyway.
It's a sweet pass.
But it is a good pass. But it's a great cut by Ivy, who has Kevin McCullough Jr. on.
Yeah. Ivy no longer with the team. But
with the team.
the principle remains because we know about their back cutting. And this isn't even a back cut. He's just cutting.
He just cut to the spot. Come right in there. McCullough's so late.
He did the
Why? Because McCullough's doing what you talked about. It's what we talked about in transition. He saw the ball. Look at where his eyes are.
Yeah.
His eyes are on the ball, not on his man. And Ivy reads that. It's like, oh, your head turned?
Yep.
Got you.
Look at where he's at now. Oh shit.
That's the moment. That's the moment when he knew he messed up. And Ivy has that, and it's like, oh, this is free lunch. We're gonna get 2 points right here, and that's all she wrote, right? That is just a lack of awareness there by McCullough. I don't want to kill the kid.
Yeah.
He is playing his first full season of basketball.
Yeah.
So that's where you have it here. Now the last thing before we get out of here that you got to look at, we talked about how the Pistons use length on Jalen Brunson to make things tough for them, but then also about how do they attack Jalen Brunson. And I want people to keep something in mind here. Attacking isn't just one-on-one and going at somebody. It's how you bring people into action. And you're going to see different plays that we chose here where some of it is going to be the ball handler going right at Jalen Brunson, and we know Jalen Brunson's an undersized point guard. We understand all the limitations there. But then there are other times where the Pistons smartly got him into actions,
yes,
and it actually helped them generate really good shots, particularly good three-point shots. And you're going to see that.
because it forces guys to overhelp.
Yep.
And this is the thing about Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, and we'll see how they attack some of the other guys on this team. But they're going to try to make the Knicks overhelp because they know they've been prone to do that at times. Less so lately because the defense has been better lately. But still, over the course of the season, their body of work suggests that this is something that they need to work on. Okay, so we have Asar Thompson here. We have Jalen Brunson here. And we're inside the three-point line. This is 2005 basketball right here.
Starting an offensive play from here with 13 on the shot. The spacing also looks like 2005. I hear you.
This takes me back to my childhood, baby, right here. Like, this is great. Okay, so we have Cade Cunningham coming off the screen from Isaiah Stewart. OG.
Good ball denial.
Great ball denial here. Duncan Robinson, who is going to be moving without the ball a ton if they play each other in the playoffs, and probably we'll see it again, especially on a young guy, Kevin McCullough Jr. He's running around here. But watch Jalen Brunson in the defense. I mean, all that to just, okay, we have more. Look at how they create more space on this drive here, right? Because now Mitchell Robinson has to account for Isaiah Stewart, so he's worried over here. So now Isaiah Stewart's such a high IQ basketball player. He's going to pull him away here. He doesn't put up gaudy numbers, but he does a lot of little things that lead to winning, which is part of why the defense and offense has been so good. And then Duncan Robinson's here is like, okay, I'm going to bring Kevin McCullough from one side of the court all the way to the other side of the court. Deuce McBride's here with Jaden Ivey, has to account for that. And now Asar's like, cool, I have a one-on-one opportunity against Jalen Brunson. And he just bumps him. There's a spin, goes up top, the floater. I mean, this is just really good offense. Just really physical, good drive.
The other thing, too, and we talk about length on the other side of the ball, Bryan, but we know Asar Thompson, who's not a great offensive player, but this is a kind of quality shot for him where he's able to use his athleticism and length and get right over Jalen Brunson. There was no wasted motion there. Agreed. But the spacing around it is what matters to what you said. And so even getting Kevin McCullough to go through the back screen that Isaiah Stewart is setting, and now you just have Asar Thompson rising up with Jalen Brunson and Deuce McBride, two smaller guards there. Mm-hmm. Mitch can't come over and do anything and help.
It's
That's
too late.
A quality shot.
The little thing, Isaiah Stewart pulled him away just enough to take him out of this play.
Yep,
just enough.
And that was huge there. And so that's Jalen Brunson being attacked, if you want to say. But I think the bigger thing to point out is what you mentioned, what was happening away from Jalen Brunson that made that a quality shot for a below average offensive player in the NBA, but he got himself a quality shot there against
who could finish, who you want, that's where he wants to shoot from, basically.
Absolutely. And so he got a quality shot for what he wants. Now, this is an example of what I'm talking about before. This is with Jalen Brunson coming into the action and the Knicks having to overhelp and it resulting in a quality shot from downtown, actually, for the Pistons. So watch this here because you're going to see Mikal Bridges on Cade Cunningham. But what do you see here? Who's popping out to the top?
And Robinson.
To show. You got Stewart and you got Robinson here again. So now here's Jalen Brunson. But look at what Duncan Robinson's doing. He's like, I give a little bit of a clip to Mikal Bridges.
Shooter.
I'm going to flare out to the line. Brunson here watching, right? Does not have his eye on Duncan Robinson. Left his man. And this is a very simple design play. Just gave a little bit of that, slipped right out. Now Brunson, it's too late.
Too late.
If you're watching this, it's too late.
Yeah.
And he wasn't watching his man. And there you go. And now Duncan Robinson is wide open for the three. I mean, that's as open as you're going to get in the NBA. It's a tough recovery for Jalen Brunson. He's already in shooting motion by the time Jalen Brunson's trying to close out. And you give a shooter like that time, that's what's going to happen. So Duncan Robinson in first-person shooter mode, and here you go.
This is somebody who has a 7-inch height advantage here, and also 40% from three again this year for his career. Also 40%.
Yeah, that's just too easy.
Way
and
too easy.
It's a very simple. There's nothing extreme about that play. But when you're looking at this defensively, if you're Jalen Brunson, it's like you didn't need to overhelp. You just fought. But the key thing is you're now coming around Beef Stew, who Mitchell Robinson's on, and you're a little bit worried about that there, right? But had Jalen Brunson not stopped here, see, that's where he rested. If Jalen Brunson just followed him through, he's worried that Mikal Bridges is then going to come through and get clipped off by Isaiah Stewart, and that would free up Cunningham. So I get the deception here. But you got to stay with your man. You got to read that and stay with your man. You got to see that and realize, look, that's going to have to be communication between Mitch and Mikal Bridges, what they're going to have to do. I cannot let the shooter get that wide open.
Yeah.
He is literally the most dangerous person in the situation.
Yeah, and by the way, and this is where the other thing about a potential playoff series that can be concerning is how do you hide Jalen Brunson in this series? Even Cat to an extent, but how do you hide Jalen Brunson in this series? Because I don't really want him on Duncan Robinson because of what we're looking at here. And I don't want Jalen Brunson to have to work that hard because if you're on Duncan Robinson,
you're going to be running off screens.
You're going to be running off screens the entire game because JB Bickerstaff's going to be like, oh, wait, what? Okay, he's going to be drawing plays up like this the entire time. Also, the height advantage. Like, you can only contest but so much there, right? So then on top of that, it's like, okay, do you put him on Asar Thompson? Well, Asar Thompson's not going to shoot, but he's going to drive like he did before.
Or you're going to have him in those actions where you get him enough space where you can have those quality drives.
You don't want him on Cade, Ron Holland. Like, it's going to be difficult, and that's one of the pressure points that they're going to be able to, or try to at least exploit. As we have another play here, but that's something that I'm really, really going to be watching for.
Yeah, now this is the last thing I want to look at, but I would say very much, guys, keep in mind the same thing that we saw in the last play.
Yeah.
Okay? Keep that in mind here. And again, you're going to watch. This is where Bryan makes a great point. Do you want Jalen Brunson on Duncan Robinson? That seems like it will be favorable. But Bickerstaff and the coaching staff of Detroit, they're going to look to see how they can exploit that. And they're going to make Brunson work. Now, think about this too, in what we talked about at the top of the show, with Brunson seeing all the length. But if you're also making him work harder on defense and he's being worn down from length, that all kind of combines together.
100%.
So the Knicks have to find better ways to either hide him, help quicker, communicate better on defense so Jalen Brunson's not as worn down offensively. That is going to be the key. The other thing you want to do is be more aggressive offensively so maybe you can get some of their key defenders with length, like Asar Thompson, which worked for the Knicks in the playoffs, get him into foul trouble.
Yeah.
That can happen too. But let's look at this last play before we get out of here. Keep your eye on Jalen Brunson and Duncan Robinson, okay? Cade Cunningham has the ball, but look right there past Cat at the top left of your screen.
Down here.
They're right there, okay? Now keep your eye on that. Jalen Brunson doing pretty good here so
Decent
far.
ball denial.
Duncan Robinson never stops moving.
There's a screen.
Isaiah Stewart again. Y'all going to be tired of this, man. There is, again, it's a little play. Bryan talked about this, but it's a great screen. Mitch knows, okay, I don't have to worry about that. I'm keeping my eye on the ball. I see my man is there. But now it's a little thing. Brunson did a great job of dying the ball. And look, Duncan Robinson never stopped moving.
Yeah.
He could have stopped right there and stayed comfortable at that spot. Nope. Brunson, you going to try to get over the screen? Nah, I'm going to go to my right. Move right there.
They're not calling that a moving screen, by the way.
No,
like
they're not.
That's not going to be called a moving screen. Like, I know people are going to say, oh, he moved or whatever, but, like, if this is a moving screen, then a lot of screens in the NBA.
You be calling moving screens every possession.
Yeah, like,
right.
the NBA is so fast that the screens almost have to be moving now in a lot of different instances.
But this is what you call a little chip, right? The chip works. Brunson's fighting to get over it. Isaiah Stewart's really strong, and then he's trying to recover the other way.
Wide.
But this is Duncan Robinson knowing if I keep moving, I'm going to make Jalen Brunson work. Either he or Mitchell Robinson have to come out here. Now, Jalen Brunson gives maximum effort to close out here.
The effort's great here.
The effort is fantastic here. But if you see in that space, it was already too late.
Yep.
And it was too late, and Brunson comes here and then fouls him. And that was it.
Yeah.
Because it was it's little things. It's the screen by Isaiah Stewart. It's the constant movement by Duncan Robinson here and the quick rise and fire. But Duncan Robinson made that play work. This is not about lack of effort for Jalen Brunson. We're not going to kill him on that. It's that you got to find ways to help him a little bit. Now, could Mitch step up right there? Possibly. But then you're forced. What's your problem right here?
Isaiah Stewart, back cutting.
And
by the way, rolling to the basket.
We already gave Duncan Robinson props that he can do a little bit of playmaking, and he could have hit him right there. But because he had so much space, and it's this much smaller guy. Because I think if Jalen Brunson was a taller guy, he probably makes that pass.
Yeah, and then what probably happens is because you could have a breakdown there just totally because Cade here has OG. Great. Duncan Robinson here. Okay, let's say he just makes his pass. Let's say Mitchell Robinson goes to contest, like takes one more foot up to the level. And then you have Isaiah Stewart here. He gets a pass. Mikal has to overhelp. And then Asar Thompson's right there at the basket. So it's Mikal having to guard both of them. And if Towns comes in and helps, I mean, yeah, maybe you want to take your chances with Paul Reed having a corner shot here. But
you could take a chance with that. But I think the lesson to be learned about this and how they're attacking Jalen Brunson is Jalen Brunson, if he's going to be on Duncan Robinson, is now going to know this man is never going to stop moving. Because he could have stopped. He could have literally caught the ball behind Isaiah Stewart and rose from there. But that extra bit of movement had to have the decision be made between Brunson and Mitchell Robinson. And you're right. The way you look at that play, it was going to be bad some way. It was just about whether it was going to be a 3 or a 2.
Yeah.
That's what it came down to. And the thing is, it ended up being 4 because it was a 3 and a foul.
And I know people are not scared of the Pistons. I understand there's people that's I don't care. It's a regular season. Beat them last year. All this stuff. And I'm not saying you should be like terrified of them or whatever, but I do think it's way, way, way more compelling than some of the biggest Knicks optimists think. Ultimately, I would say that the Knicks can win that series. Like, they could win a road Game 7 in Detroit. But I'm a little less confident in that than, say, you are, for example, because I think Detroit's defense is legitimately playoff good. And in this Eastern Conference, like, you may have somebody like that can break through and win it all. I don't know if they have enough offensive talent, though, to keep up with the Knicks offense. Yeah. That's where I have some concerns, but do the Knicks have enough defense to sort of stop?
Well, that's the point you're getting to, and I think
it's a much more compelling. I think it's a 6-7 gamer if we do get it, and I think these are the two best teams in the East. I think the Knicks have the most talent in the East. They have the deepest team now, but that doesn't always mean you're going to go to the championship.
Look, it doesn't, and what I'll say, and we'll wrap on this. And I think we'll see this Thursday night, and this is why we're glad we looked at this. It shows you some of the problems. There are problems for now. You can make adjustments to problems. Things can change. Yeah. It does not have to be what you saw in the first 2 games. Mm-hmm. Mike Brown has shown a good job of being malleable this season, but this is what he gets paid for the big bucks for, and he'll be really judged about this in the playoffs. But what I will say is, if the Knicks defense continues to trend in the way it has been over the last couple of weeks, they are now 11th in defensive rating. I've talked all season long. Can they get to that top 8 to 10? When they had that 2-9 stretch, it didn't look so good. I wasn't feeling that great about it. I feel a little bit better about where they are now. We'll see how Jose Alvarado continues to fit in. We'll see how Jeremy Sohan continues to fit in. He's another guy I think you can use and throw at a Cade Cunningham that I think matters in a way. So we will see how that all gets as the Knicks try to get healthier with OG Anunoby, hopefully with his toe avulsion, and then Deuce McBride as well with the sports hernia. So those are things you have to see. But I think for the Knicks to sort of close the gap and ease maybe some of the concerns you have, I think it's fair to say their defense has to be better, and you can't have the transition defense look like what we just saw there. Yeah. And the overall defensive resistance has to be better. They have to pick up from taking care of Jalen Brunson, who we know the Pistons are still going to try to hunt, even though offensively they are not great. You can see what their offensive principles are and what they really want to do in this matchup. So it's a fantastic one. We'll see on Thursday night what happens. Knicks Pistons, first game out of the break. Should be a fun one. There'll be a live Knicks watch party with myself and Bryan. Special guests. As I said, the ops are going to be in the building. But we're going to be ready. It's going to be a fun one. That's going to do it. Hope you enjoyed this film breakdown. Let us know what you think are the biggest reasons the Knicks have struggled against the Pistons. Is it some of the things we mentioned? We didn't fully get into physicality, but that is kind of involved in everything else.
Yeah,
with that
agreed.
there, we could have put that there, but that is kind of a mix of some of the things that we saw here. But these were the 4 things we thought that we could break down via the film that would be good for the people. That's going to do it. He's Bryan Fonseca. I'm Dexter Henry. We'll catch you next time in another edition of New York Got Game.
See you Thursday.
Peace.
And thanks for watching New York Got Game. Boom shakalaka.